Good morning, YouTube. It's my first video of what is going to be called the Hawken Project. This is the CVA Hawken 50 caliber I picked up last week. I paid $100 for this gun. It did look, it was all intact when I got it. I've taken it completely apart, and for the video here I put it back together somewhat. I put the lock back in, put the triggers back in, put the barrel back in for now. The ramrod did come with it, but it's not done correctly. This gun was put together as kit, and whoever put the ramrod on, or put the ramrod together, didn't do it correctly. The ends were not put on right. Basically, it's kind of thinned out towards where the ends are, which is dangerous. Being it's a wooden ramrod, that's how ramrods can break, especially if it's tightly, if it's a real tight patch, very easy to break it. So I just went ahead and ordered a new Delcron rod from basically the synthetic ramrod from Track of the Wolf that'll fit this gun. It's made for this gun. The action on this gun did not work, and it wasn't the lock. It was the way the lock had been fitted to this gun. I have since taken care of that. You can see it sitting on half cock right now because there's no nipple in there. It wouldn't even do that. The action, when it was in the gun, the only way you could get the gun to even function would be to pull the double set trigger back all the way. So whoever had this gun at one point in time, apparently for the length of time they owned it, the only way they ever shot it was to have it cocked with a double set trigger, which is extremely dangerous. So the only way the gun would work would be to pull it, set the double set trigger, and then pull the front trigger, which you've got basically a 3-pound trigger. The front trigger wouldn't even work independently of the rear. That has since been taken care of. I will show you a picture up close of where I basically filed down the action, or you can see where it is necessary to file that down. It started off as round. I've had to do it basically like with the L&R lock. That's what you have to do with their lock as well to fit theirs in, and that's what you have to do with these locks, with the old CVA kits. And this was not, whoever just didn't do it. It made the gun extremely dangerous. The barrel, as you can see, I don't know if you can really see all the rust and the corrosion on it. I'm just going to redo it. I'm going to do what I did with the CVA mountain right. You can see right there is a pretty good section of it. The gun was loaded. I can tell you that it's not the first time I bought a muzzleloader or seen a muzzleloader that's been loaded. I did another video on how to pull a stuck ball if you just cannot manage to get the thing out. It wasn't easy. The quickest way I can do it, and I've done them before, is where you take it and you put a cleaning rod down here, and you make sure you have a long length of cleaning rod to get away from the barrel end, and you just tap it loose. Very slowly, you put the barrel in a vise and you tap it loose, and I'll show you and explain how I did it. I couldn't really do the video and hold it and all with 2 hands at the same time, or even set it up, but it did work. The ball is out, the load is out, and it looks to me, from what I can tell, there was hardly any powder in it. Certainly not what would be a 50 or 60 grain powder charge, which would be the normal load for a gun like this. There is barely, what I would say, maybe 20 grains. So that might have been part of the problem. But I can tell you right now that ball, just by judging the ball in the patch and how rough the patch looked, been in here a long time. And here's all the parts. And when I take a gun apart, and I recommend this to everybody, is when you take the gun apart, bag all your parts, even in separate bags. There's the sheet, there's the patch box, the butt plate, the trigger guard, the ramrod spring, the wedge guide, the brass wedge escutcheons right there. I've already sanded this. Where you see it sanded is what I've been kind of testing to see how the wood looks already, so I can kind of judge how I want to stain it. Even the lock got a bit of surface rust on it, but this is going to show you that for $100 you too can make a nice, decent, real nice muzzleloader. And I'll tell you exactly what I pay for parts that I fix. The ramrod right now I believe is about roughly right around $25. So there's 125 already. I'm going to probably, that's like the rear sight, I've taken the sight off this. You notice there's a dovetail. The rear sight on these CVAs, on the Hawkens especially, is an adjustable sight that screws into the barrel. The new Traditions Hawkens do not have a dovetail like this. They just have two holes where it's screwed in the barrel. The CVAs had a unique way of doing it. They had a little, basically a dovetail within a dovetail, where you would screw the sight down and it was held in place by one set screw. And the front sight I have not taken out yet, but I have a replacement front sight coming, a more traditional front sight, and a more traditional rear sight. So that when I'm done, this gun will look like a more traditional Hawken rifle. Which is what I want. I hate those adjustable rear sights. They're great for hunting. I will give them that. There are a lot of adjustments, wind and elevation, you adjust with a screwdriver. No big deal. But they don't look right on these guns. I've never liked the looks of them. So my next project is probably going to be to sand down the stock. And when I get into that, I'll show you what, I probably won't show you the whole video, because to me there's nothing worse than watching a guy spend 20 minutes sanding wood. But I will explain to you what sandpaper I used, what it looks like, and where I'm between each step. I will show you what it looks like when it first gets sanded, before I smooth it out, what to watch out for, and then we'll go from there. And then as I do the barrel, I'll explain the same process. I'll probably show you how the cold bluing is done. The barrel right now has been cleaned a little bit on the inside. There was some surface rust, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Even with the stuck bore, or the stuck load, I thought the barrel was going to be worse than it did. I've already run a couple patches through it and cleaned it out, and run some hot water, hot soapy water through it, and then some black powder solvent. But I can tell you right now, it's coming along. The lock was a lot easier to fix than I thought it was going to be. The other thing I'm going to do is dress up all these screw heads. You know, if you notice the drum right there where the nipple goes, that screw head's buggered. I see that all the time. My guess is that was when the load was stuck in it. He was trying to get it out. That is in there tight. Whoever it was could not move it. So I will clean that up and dress that up as well, so it looks good at least, and at least not as buggered up as that looks. Again, I'm not going to try to make this look like a new gun. I'm going to try to make this look like a Hawken that's seen some use, but not in the shape that it's in right now. I don't know how much I'm going to polish the brass. I think I'm just going to give it I'm going to clean it and then maybe give it like a slightly aged look. And that's probably as much as I'm going to do, at least with the brass. But I'm going to clean it up, especially you notice how dingy and how dirty the patch box looks. I was surprised. Most of these on the inside look green and crappy because people will put patches in there and leave them. This guy apparently never put anything in that patch box, which is one saving grace. The inside of the patch box is clean. The one when I did my CVA mountain rifle was absolutely disgusting. It was green and copper. I spent like hours just cleaning that. This one is in much better shape. But right now I'm probably going to go back in, take it apart, take the lock out, and just get it ready to go for the next step, which is going to be sanding the stock down. Hopefully catch you then, and well, that'll be the next part of the Hawken project. Have a good day, YouTube.